Hey gromies, welcome to Strain Trakker. We are going to look at some stuff today really around the basic functionality of how you track your grows, because it shouldn't be a pain to track your strain. So take a look at the top navigation here. You can search the site entirely. You can go light mode, dark mode. You can get all the information related to the site, how to contact us, how to use the site, policies, procedures, the leadership team, the partners, the basics. You can understand all the messages that you might be getting from the forum. And then you can also go in and change your profile information. All right, so if you want to change anything to do with your profile, you just go into the edit profile information. And you've got all of your basics here. You got your first name, your last name, your aliases. You can only change aliases so many times. You've got your email address. You could change all of this. You could change your password. You can deactivate your account. You can look at your communication preferences. You can do everything you want in here related to just your profile information. You can also look at your growing statistics as you build them out, and your grow templates as you build those out. Everything is blank here. This is a new user. We'll go into some examples of this in a bit. And you can look at your community statistics. So then you want to get back to the home page, and we're going to start navigating through the home page. Okay, so you've landed here on the home page, and you can see this is your dashboard. These are your quick actions on your dashboard. You can do things like looking at all of your active grows. You can look at your watering updates, your grow reports, how much you're harvesting, etc. You can start a new grow, you can water the plants, you can use the AI growing assistant, and you can take a look at your recent activity. But across this navigation on the top here, once you get data in here, things are going to start to show up, and then this is where this tool gets really powerful for everybody. You're going to have your growing information. When you have nothing, you're going to start your first grow. When you look at watering, when you've got nothing, you're going to look at this and you're going to start to water and feed the plants. You can look at the forum and see what's going on here. People will start posting. It will be fantastic. Really excited to get the forum going. And then from the tools menu, there's all types of things that can go on here. You can do reporting views, start your new grows, water the plants, look at the AI assistant. You can refer friends. Later on in life here, we're going to start doing referral management, and the more people that you refer, the more people that sign up and are using it consistently, you will be able to win certain prizes. You can import your grow details, you can export your grow details, you can export your watering details. And a really cool thing about this application is that you can start to print QR codes related to your strains. We'll go into a little bit of that later. So let's go back to the home page. Hey, welcome to the Start a New Grow portion of the Strain Trakker training. As you know, what we always say is it shouldn't be a pain to track your strain, and it shouldn't really be a pain to add a new strain. So you've got two options here. You could either come into your dashboard and take a look at what's going on and start your new grow from here, and you'll see that screen, or you can go into growing, which is generally where you're going to go after you've got a bunch of strains in here. So I'm going to start from here. It doesn't matter where you start from, the same interface, same way, operates the same, very, very much so. So I'm going to start my first grow. There's quick start setup that only has a few fields in it. And then there is the entirely crazy detailed setup that has an immense amount of fields in it. And we will keep adding them. Please send us some information, some suggestions in the contact form, and tell us what you want us to add. There are some updates coming, but we are pretty thorough in terms of what we have right now. So we're going to start with the easy, quick start grow right now, and then we'll go into the grow that we've created and we'll add more of the details. So once you get your grow in, you could start with the most minimal information as you possibly can, and then you can go into the strain later and edit it and add all of the detailed information and finish off your grow and track what you've done from everything you can imagine. So we're going to start quickly. I'm not going to create a template, but you can if you want. If you want to create a template, click on the template. You can do a photo period. You can do an auto flower, seed, clone, tent, outdoor, custom. So we're going to say this is an auto flower. We're going to say it's from seed because cloning autos is not what you want to do, and I'm going to grow it in a tent. So this is going to be my tent test. I'll create that template. Then your template will always be here. So every time you do a tent grow and you're using similar strains or you're adding a strain, you know what you do in your tent. So this is going to be test Kush. This is going to be an RQS, and then I'm just going to use a Royal Queen Seeds view here. And as you can see, right, we've just launched this site. There are going to be some discrepancies or some minor tweaks that we have to make from a design perspective, but don't worry about it. They get fixed. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. There's just a slight bit of alignment on some things you're going to see here. We're 2 people that are building this, so we'll get it there. Trust me. I'm going to choose a file. When I choose a file, this is going to look at either your phone, or in this case, this is pulling it out of one of the images that I have grown from a strain here. I don't remember what it was, but you can see pretty freaking delicious looking. A lot of purple in there. The tries were great. You know, good harvest. So this is test notes. Do I want to share it with the community? If I want to share it with the community or keep it private, I've got my choice. The default's to keep it private. If I want to share it, it's going to get you to, later on in the community when you choose the forum, it's going to ask you to acknowledge that you're willing to share it further and the details around sharing it. But I'm going to keep it private for now. And am I willing to trade from this strain? So if I am going to, you know, make seeds, if I determine I want to run a seed run because my strain is killer, I might. But I could trade seeds, clones, equipment, seeds and clones, everything, or I'm not trading. So I'm going to say I'm going to trade everything. For this clone, or sorry, for this strain, I'm actually going to create a QR code. This is really cool. Think about the way you label your plants. Well, when you add this strain, even starting from the seedling, you could up here load the picture of the seed package so that you know what it is. And then in here, I'm going to create a QR code. And then later, we'll show you how to print out all of your QR codes. Then you can just attach it to the plant. Then you can just walk up to the plant and you could literally use your phone and the camera and take a photo of the QR code, and it's going to take you right into your site and all of the details of that strain. All right, I'm going to save that grow. Done. Save the grow. Here's Test Kush. That's as easy as you could ever want to add a strain into this in terms of tracking the strain. Okay, now what we're going to do is go into the strain details and look at everything that is available to you as you build out the strain further. You get more details. You may have just started with a seed, so you may not have too much information there. And if you don't have that much information, cool. If you've just added it at the quick start, we're still going to be able to track it. It'll have your basic information. But this will bring up the card. And if you've got 50 cards, 100 cards, etc., it'll load all of these cards one by one in a forced list down here. So I'm going to go into the edit section of this. So let's open this up. Let's click on edit. When we click on edit, this is what the detailed information screen looks like. So when you pull up this detailed information, actually, let me show you something actually really cool here. The picture that I've loaded, as you can see here, and it shows in a small thumbnail when this is closed. When you open it up, it's a little bit bigger, but I want to really check it out. That's what this strain looked like. So pretty delicious strain. Nice and purple, really happy with it. I couldn't have been more pleased. See, we've got a couple of issues. We're going to fix them. A couple of developers that have to just tweak a few things. So I want to get you guys in and learning how to do this. I'll fix the minor problems as we go. So that's the big picture of it. I want to edit this. My basic information is already filled out. It's the test Kush. I've got my test notes. I'm going to trade everything. My grow status is active. I can change it from active to completed. It might have issues. It might be yellowing. You could use the AI companion to find out more about the yellowing from the bottom up. Do you have NPK issues? Whatever you've got. Or I had 5 males. I'm still going to track those. I'm going to cut them as soon as I realize they're males, but I still may have started tracking them in the beginning. And if you're just using a batch of seeds from a friend or whatever and you don't know, you want to look at percentages of what you get, how you started it, what the end result was, and you pull them, but you can mark them mail and remove. But I'm going to keep this as active. And then I'm going to go into watering details. For those of you who don't know, the Strain Trakker crew is based here in Phoenix. And today, the day that I'm making this video, it is literally 116 degrees and we have strains outside. Some in the ground, some in pots. They need water often. So I'm going to add a watering record. And this gets really detailed, but I'm going to go through it relatively quickly and not go into the hyper detail and fully configure everything. You can test it out, see what you want to do. But I'm only going to have one strain. If I have 50 strains, 100 strains, I can select each one of these. So you could picture 10 or in rows of 3 across and down, all of the strains. They will be either selected or not. This is deselected, this is selected. As soon as you select one grow, you'll get an action button that comes up here. I'm going to choose this. This has got my default view in terms of what my notification will be in days. It defaults to 10 days. You can change that later. I'll show you how. My watering details is today, August 6th. I'm going to water it with 1. And in this case, it's defaulting to millimeters. But I can change this to gallons because I'm here in the US. And then I can set that as my default because I don't need to click this every single time I water, except if I am doing liters or ounces, and I do that consistently because I have some measuring device that I always use. So I'm going to click gallons. I use the gallons measurement when I water from my hose. Sometimes I'm actually testing out watering from the hose, knowing my pH from my hose is relatively high, but using 2 different strains, one in the ground with hose water that is straight out of the hose and nothing else except for newts if I add it. Or if I want to pH that water, I've got one that I'm pHing and I've got one that I'm not, and I kind of want to do a scientific A/B test and see what's going on. So I'm choosing gallons. I'm setting gallons as my default. That will turn black. Then I'm going to look at my pH. Like I said, if you're straight out of my hose, we are crazy pH over 7.5. We're going to warn you that, the entire process of growing plants is a study in the physical dance of pH balance. We all know what newt lockout is when you don't have the right pH, so we'll at least give you a helpful warning. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Is it going to prevent you from continuing? No, it won't. Then I'm going to add newts. Well, right now, today, I'm going to add some top dressing because I'm going to add my Gaia Green, and I'm going to add other, and I'm going to add that mycorrhiza, and I am not even sure. And spelling, yeah, whatever. We'll see. But that'll keep it at least when you learn how to spell it. We may add a couple of more buttons here. We'll see how that goes. But then this is the really cool part. I need notifications. We're out and about. We're running around. We're busy all day. We've got day jobs. We may or may not come home and imbibe and may forget. But you know what? We're going to enable you to get an email. Or in the future, we're looking at enhancements for text messaging. And I want to get it for my watering reminders or my newt reminders. And I want to figure out what that's going to be. And in this case, I've got it for both watering and nutrients. And this is my test cush. And I'm going to have it do every 2 days. And I can click this off if I want. Now, if I've got 14, 50, 100, 200 strains here, I know which strains use more water than others from an historical perspective. So I can change what that looks like for each strain in here. And the reminders you will get in the email will be based on the days that you select. You can have it do all of that for every single time or not. It's really up to you and what you want to do. If you have multiple strains here, you will get another addition to this UI UX right here that tells you do it for all plants, select them all so you don't have to click through it. We're making it easy, right? Because it shouldn't be a pain to track your strain. This is how we're going to make it easy for you. So there's the water one grow. We've got success there, and there we have the recent watering records shows up as today. And we gave it 1 gallon, and our top dressing was, we'll add some free forming there, but the Gaia Green 444 and the mycorrhiza that I can't spell. Now, if I want to export my watering records, I can from here, but you can also do it from the watering side of this. We'll show you that later. I got strain details. I'm not going to enter in every single thing here, but you can look at this. It's RQS. My type is indica. My THC percentage is 30%. My CBD is 5. I don't know what kind of strain this might be, but I'm making stuff up as I go. My indica, and you can get this in this case when we are using any seed bank, right? RQS gives us those measurements. So you can look at, this is let's say it's a 65% indica. It'll automatically calculate the sativa side of this. Now, if there's a ruderalis involved, if it's an auto, we're working on getting that in there so it does the 3-way calculation. But you would have to at least do 2, and then it'll calculate the third, which the ruderalis is usually the lower percentage. So then I'm going to look at my genetic background. I'm going to say it's blueberry. The effect is euphoric. My primary flavor is berry, and I am in a temperate climate. Got that done. And I got my grow information. Let's say it's 20% THC CBD. My sprout date is today. My watering frequency is every 2 days. My flowering date estimate is 2 weeks from now because it's a crazy fast growing strain. My day 1 of flower is going to be on the 14th. My flowering time is 6 to 7 weeks. Yes, the math isn't adding up. It doesn't matter for this presentation. This is just to show you all the data that you can enter in. The site does all the math for you later when you enter it in correctly. So this will be an August date. My yield indoor will be 25 grams because I'm going to grow this in a solo cup. My outdoor yield, if I were growing it outdoor, they have different weights and produce different amounts of flower and dry weight when it's indoor outdoor. So you can move those around. You can select your indoor height. You can look at your newt types. I've got a few of these from this is really not newts, but it is your dirt, right? You got Fox Farm Trio, Botanicare, Canna Coco, Organic Compost, or a custom mix, or other. If you put in other, we're going to add another form field here that you can put in and make your own organic mix. What are my growing methods? I'm indoor, I'm sun grown because I could have a mix across the strains. But I'm going to do this one indoor, and it's a feminized, and it's an autoflower. And of course it's feminized and an autoflower because why wouldn't it be? You wouldn't have an autoflower that's a male, but nonetheless, the more choices, the more data, the better you can look at it. So my harvest date, we said, was going to be on the 21st. My weight is going to be, let's say that is 100 grams. That's my wet weight. This is my wet weight in ounces. And let's just say that's 10. We'll do the cross math here. That's another enhancement that's coming, where if I put in 100 grams, it'll do it in ounces, 28 grams an ounce. My dry weight is going to be, let's say that's 40 grams. My dry weight will be that. So, right, so you can see the math happening here. When I do 50 grams, it's 1.76. If I do 100 grams, it's 3.53 ounces. My dry time, why not track your dries, right? My dry time is going to be usually, let's say, 10 days. Could be anywhere, depending on what you're doing. If you're hanging the whole plant, if you're just doing the buds, if you're wet trimming, if you're waiting and doing dry trimming. What is my day 1 of cure so I can track that? So we said it's going to be done on the 21st. That's cut date. So the 22nd would be day 1 of cure, which my math is wrong in my head, so bear with me. That would actually be 10 days after. So if our dry time is 10 days, we've got, let's say, the 29th. And then my curing method is what? It's in a glass, it's in a bag, it's other. I'm going to choose glass. You know, you might just pull it and say, you know what, my first taste is going to be the 29th. And then it's, this was yummy. And I can create the QR code if I want here. And I'll save that because you can see in the background it's grayed out here because we're working in this form. You don't see the QR code in this space. So I'm going to save these changes. Success on the save changes takes you back to the original screen, and then we've got everything here. We've got the sprout date, the start flower. We got the harvest date. We've got the QR code that you can put on it. You've got the test notes. You got the URL that'll take you to it. You can copy the URL. You can blow it out to the other site. In this case, it will. It'll open up and show you this Sticky Queen auto, but that's okay. That's what we're doing. So we'll go back to here. You got your growing methods, right? We chose the indoor, the autoflower, and it's feminized. We got the harvest results of what we're going to get for 100 grams or 3.53 ounces. We got the strain properties, the THC amount, the CBD amount. It's an indica. I'm going to trade all of these related to the strain. And then I got my strain info that I input in there, the blueberry, the indica sativa mix, what seed bank it's coming from, all of my grow data, 6 to 7 weeks. It's due in August. We're going to water it every 2 days. We've got other nutrients in there. My expected yields from this plant, my watering dates, my harvest info, and any notes that we do. This was yummy. And that's really it. If you want to delete this strain, you can absolutely go through and delete it. When you delete this strain goes away. There is no get backs. So please understand that when you delete a strain, it goes away. We will retain it in the database, but there is no way for a user to get it back. The reason that we retain this data, because it's anonymized, we don't keep your login, your credentials, your name, your email, your identifiable information. We keep this to make the site smarter and help everybody grow. So if you want to delete this grow after a while, you can. I would recommend you keep all of your grows. So I'm not going to delete this and show you how to delete it because you can, and then you could delete it, but don't. Keep this card here because when you do this, and what you're looking at is, I want to export all of my grows, and it'll export all of this data that you see here. So keep your grows, keep your completed grows, mark them completed, mark them dead, mark them male, mark them has issues. And you can export it to Excel if you want to put a pivot table in Excel. If you're that good at Excel, go ahead and do it. Parse that data, learn more about it. We'll add more of that when we get into the tools and reporting. So I'll end up with one of them, there's a million cool things on this site that we've designed. We have tried to think of everything. Are we close? Probably not. But importing your grows. So let's just say you're already growing and using spreadsheets. I don't care if it's Google Sheets. I don't care if it's Excel. You can import the grows as well as export. So if you got 100 strains, cool, export them. If you've got a bunch of strains you've been tracking in a spreadsheet, import it. Well, here's how you can import it really easy, because you don't want to type all of this information. That's an immense amount of work. So you can import your grow information using a reliable CSV, that's Excel, template system. And if you already have the template, you're good, you click yes. But if you don't, we will give you a CSV template that has to stay in the structure that it is in. There's security in this template. There's everything that we need to ingest this data back in and keep the site secure and keep everybody's data safe, of course, because this is a very secure site, but we don't need people trying to do anything stupid here. So we're preventing a lot of this stupidity from happening if somebody decides they want to hack something. So we're going to protect it. So if you don't use our CSV template to upload your data, then there is no way you're going to upload bulk data. But then from here, you just say download the CSV template, and it's going to download it, and you can open it up and look at the structure. You can make columns wider, rows deeper, etc., but you can't move or modify the columns and everything that's going on there. And then you're just pasting in the information into the spreadsheet. So that's a really super cool feature to get it in and out. You can also just export that, and it just exports it, and you can open up the MyGrow export, and it'll give you the date, so you can do it every single time you want. So folks, that is really the growing side of this.